Hey guys, yeah, you get to look at me from my dashboard there. I want to talk a little bit while I'm on this drive about I'm pretty much I'm done with Trump. That's it. I'm done. I didn't vote for Trump last election in 2016 because I didn't trust him, but I also didn't vote, of course, for Hillary or anyone else. I just skipped that line because in my view there was not a good enough candidate on the ballot, so I skipped it. However, Trump's policies for the most part had won me over, so I became a Trump supporter because of all the good things that he has been doing, and was, well, like I said, won over. Then we had the bump stock ban, and the fact that he was putting this bump stock ban in, and then there was that was a major tick mark in the bad column for me. Now, when he had said at the White House, when he was talking to law enforcement personnel, that take the guns and worry about due process later, that was a sort of, made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. But I thought, okay, that's just Trump talking right now. I don't see any policies being pushed. And so what I did was I compartmentalized that in the back of my mind and just kind of kept watching. Well, when the bump stock ban happened, that was a big tick mark for me. But it wasn't yet a deal killer. It was one of those, all right, I'm going to start really looking at this a lot more objectively to ensure that we are aware of what he's doing. Well, now that he's pushing red flag laws and universal background checks, he's doing exactly what I was afraid of in 2016, which is why I did not vote for him. So, sorry, I'm listening to my GPS. I'm sorry, this is a deal killer. I'm not a single issue voter. I'm really not. However, the issue of guns is a deal killer for me. I look at everything in the aggregate, and I still like everything else that Trump has done. But what good does it do to live in a society with a great economy when you have no rights? When your rights are being eroded? I would rather live in a poor economy and be able to defend myself and exercise my rights without government interference than live in a really good economy where the government basically restricts what I can do, what I can carry, how I can carry, who I do business with, and all that kind of stuff. And so while I won't vote for someone strictly because of only their gun position, I will not vote for somebody because of their position on guns, if that makes any sense. Now, that doesn't mean that whoever the Democrat candidate is going to get my vote, but my thoughts are this: even if I were going to vote for one of the two parties, my thought is this: at least if I voted for a Democrat, I know I'm supposed to be getting gun control because that's what they're telling me. Whereas with Trump, he's telling me one thing and then doing an entirely different thing. He's going behind my back. He's lying to me. He's lying to you. He's lying to each and every one of us. And I can't stomach that. Now, I would never vote for a Democrat because not only would they destroy liberty, but they'd destroy the economy. They'd destroy, our decision to, our ability to make decisions for ourselves without government telling us what to do, what to think, how to live, all that kind of stuff. And they're not stealing all my money. So I'm definitely not going to vote for any Democrats. But you know what? I am not going to vote at this point right now. Now, we've got 18 months. But I'm not voting for Trump. I'm done. As a matter of fact, I am not even going to wear my Trump crap anymore. I might just to trigger liberals sometimes, because I know that that makes them get into a tizzy when you walk around with "Make America Great." But that I'd only wear that at a rally or something where I know there's going to be a protest, just to kind of irk them. But I'm done. I don't know what Trump can do. The only thing that Trump can do right now is, if this universal background check bill or the red flag bill or anything else that's gun control related, if it gets to his desk and he vetoes it, then we'll talk again. But, he's pretty much doing what the NRA told him to do. And, this argument that, if you don't vote for Trump, that's a vote for a Democrat. Well, I guess Trump should have been better, huh? That's what happens. I am not going to vote for Trump just so a Democrat doesn't get elected. I'm sorry. I've got more integrity than that. It is not going to happen. And if that means that a Democrat gets elected, well, then I guess people better wake up. And maybe that will be what ushers in the next civil war that secures our rights, is having a Democrat, socialist, communist president, so that the people can wake up and recognize that the two-party system is failing us. I mean, when you've got a choice between a Republican gun grabber and a Democrat gun grabber, you have no choice. And I'm sorry, but the libertarians, all they're putting up are freaking morons. If any other party would put up something that was a candidate that was worth anything, maybe we can talk about a third party. But right now, I don't see anybody holistically at all. And like I said, the gun thing, I'm not a single issue voter on gun things. I look at the whole picture, but I will not vote for somebody based solely on their gun stance. Because to me, that's the one thing that secures everything else in life, is your ability to keep and bear any arms that you want to carry in self-defense, in defense of yourself, in defense of your community, in defense of your state, in defense of your country. That's the deal killer for me. And what we need to be doing, and I've already done this, is emailing, writing, calling the White House and calling your senators and calling your representatives and letting them know this is a deal killer. You vote for these bills and you're done. The Republican Party is done. That's it. They are going to go the way of the Whigs if they continue down this road, because this is an important issue. And legislating based off of emotion is not the way to legislate. That is not the way to lead a country, is based on heightened emotions. But I know that that's what the two-party system wants to do. That's how they increase the state, the size of the state, the power of the state, the scope of the state, and limit liberty for each and every one of us. But CJ, if we don't have, you want dangerous people to have guns? We need a red flag law. I mean, how are we going to keep the guns out of the hands of dangerous people? Well, look, if these people are dangerous, what good does it do to take their guns and leave them in society? If a guy wants to kill or hurt his wife or girlfriend or neighbor or whomever, you think taking away his guns is going to do anything? He's still out there in the public. Now he's got chainsaws and knives and hammers, and heck, he can just go get another gun somewhere else. And now, by the way, he's pissed off because you just disarmed him. So if somebody is truly a danger to society, why are we leaving him in public? If someone is truly a danger to society, taking away his guns doesn't do anything. That's like, a guy that wants to that's threatening to burn down the neighborhood. You take away his lighter, but you leave him with his matches. What good does that do? Or you leave him with the gasoline, but he's still out there wanting to burn down your house. He's gonna find a way. So if someone after due process is truly a threat to society, we already have ways to put those people through a system. Okay, you take them off the street, you put them through whatever, but it's the individual, not the guns. And all that we're gonna do with these red flag laws is make people who may already be unhinged more unhinged, because now you've stripped them of their rights. Now you've given them a reason to be violent and angry, instead of just taking them and putting them in counseling. All right? But I'm done. I'm done with Trump. I am absolutely done with Trump. I am off the Trump train. I have jumped off mid thing, but thankfully we've got 18 months for Trump to do the right thing and for Trump to come clean and recognize that he screwed up royally. And anyone out there that thinks, oh, you know, we can't have Democrats in control, well, why not? We're losing our rights one way or the other, aren't we? This is just one step, because this is what's going to happen. We're gonna have red flag laws, and we're gonna have universal background checks. If you want to buy a gun from me, or I want to buy a gun from you, we now look at this. This is the problem with these universal background checks. In D.C., in Washington D.C., it costs $125 to transfer a firearm from one person to another, even if it's just your neighbor. If it's your childhood high school friend that you've known for the last 30 years, like a brother or a sister, it's $125. What does that mean? That means that poor people in Washington, D.C. can't buy or sell a gun because they've got to buy the gun, then they've got to buy the ammo, but now they got to pay $125 on top of that. And it's cost prohibitive. So these universal, and that's just in D.C. There are other states where the fees are just as high. These things are bad news. I should not, look, are there people that are going to sell to bad people? Yes, but they're doing it right now. Background checks are not going to keep bad people from buying guns or selling guns to bad people or from bad people. And the other issue here is, besides that, the government has no, this isn't interstate commerce. The government can only regulate interstate commerce. That's it. So if I want to sell a gun to my neighbor, constitutionally, the federal government has no right to restrict that at all, even under interstate commerce. That's a state issue. And you know, we can fight that at the state level. If we want to fight at the state level, these red flag laws, that's where the fight should be, not at the federal level. And Donald Trump is sucking up power and authority just like every other president before him. And he's just doubling down on it. And the only way we are going to change the system is if we stand up to this two-party system and stop playing the game they want us to play, which is pitting us against one or the other. And this stupid, ignorant, failed argument that it's one or the other. It's not one or the other. We have three choices and sometimes more: Democrat, Republican, or neither. And more, by saying more, sometimes there's a third-party candidate out there that is worthy of our attention. But if this is the way the Democrat Party, I mean, Dan Crenshaw is even online with this. When you've got people who you expect to be strong on liberty that are caving, and they're calling themselves Republicans, the Republican Party is dead. It's absolutely dead. And the only way we are going to reverse the course on this is if we punish them. And if they get punished. And the only way they're going to get punished is not by doing the whole lesser of two evils thing, but in helping them lose. Is that going to create pain for us? Yes, it will. But hopefully, that's going to cause one of two outcomes. It's going to wake the Republican Party up to realize that, crap, when we capitulate, when we meet in the middle, when we give up, when we do what the Democrats want us to do, when we surrender, we lose. So we need to stand strong like the Democrats. My gosh, it's not even like I mean, Trump isn't even trying to play the game where he's like, okay, look, we'll do these background check fixes, but you have to give us 50 state reciprocity for licensing. Okay, if someone has a license in one state, it's good in all 50 states. I mean, that is compromise, even though I would still disagree with that. But at least you're getting something while you're losing something. And as it stands right now, all we're doing is losing. The Democrats are the Republicans, all they keep doing is giving up ground. And if you're going to give up ground, the only way to truly compromise is to get something in return. I mean, I would be less angry if Trump was going out there saying, look, these red flag, and again, I don't support this, but okay, let's do red flag laws. We're going to make sure there's due process first. There will be a court case. The defendant or the person that is the target of the red flag will have a day in court before we take his guns away. And it'll be we'll have the due process in there. And then, but in order for us, the only way I'm going to support this as president is if the Democrats agree that a part of this bill is, you name it, getting rid of the NFA, getting rid of, or allowing 50 state reciprocity. Okay, damn it, get something back. Don't just give up. Trump's supposed to be a fighter. And if we don't force him to fight, we, the people, are going to keep losing. It is incredibly difficult to get rid of a law, because here's what's going to happen. They're going to pass this law, and it's probably going to be in effect, if not forever, in perpetuity, 10 or 20 years, just like the assault weapons ban was under Clinton. Thankfully, Bush was able to let it expire. But that's 10 or 20 years we've got to deal with this mess. And it's incredibly difficult. And you've got to make sure that if there is an expiration date on these laws, that there's a Republican or a pro-gun president and majority in office to be able to let that thing expire. That's it. Sorry, I know it's going to piss a lot of people off. It might make some people happy. But I am not a party person. I believe in liberty. And while I tend to vote Republican, and obviously I ran as a Republican, and I support the Republicans, at least I support the platform of the Republicans. The problem is the people in the party are not obeying the platform. They're selling us out. And I, for one, refuse to buy into that and to reward that. So Donald Trump, you lost at least one guy that you had won over.